welcome to part one of my video diary about giving up bread. Today's the second day that I've gone without bread, and I wanted to record this and also give people some ideas that will help them give up bread, because this is not something you can just wake up one day and say, that's it, I'm not having any bread. It's a really, really addictive thing. Well, it is for me and it is for a lot of people, and what I find is that when I start eating it I can't stop. And I think the definition of an addiction is that too much is never enough, and that's certainly how I feel about eating bread. And I find that it not only bloats me out, but it actually makes me feel bad about myself, and I don't like this control it actually seems to have on me, and I want to be free of it. So, in this video I'm just going to give you a couple of things to think about right at the outset if you are about to give up eating bread. And the first thing I'd say, and I know this from experience because I've given up bread before and gone right back to it, is that it's a really bad idea to try and give up bread along with lots of other things. So it might seem really, really exciting to give up bread, give up sugar, go to the gym every day, and etc, etc. But I do not know a single person who has managed to sustain that kind of, life overhaul, really. But what I've found is that if you make these changes in isolation, then you can sustain them. So 5 months ago I gave up sugar, processed sugar, and coffee. Coffee is not too much of a problem for me, but sugar I was really addicted to. I mean, to give you some idea, there was one point in my life where I would eat 5 bars of chocolate a day. So you can see where I've come from and where I'm at now, and I haven't had any for 5 months. And then 2 months after that I gave up dairy, and I did that because I knew from previous experience that I have a lot more energy when I'm not eating any dairy. So I have managed to sustain these changes for that amount of time. I'm talking months on end, which I've never done in my life before, because I did them in isolation. So the second thing I think you need to think about is, if you're not going to have bread, what are you going to have? See, bread for me was always the default hunger solution, if you like. The times when I haven't been eating well, my body would start getting hungry, and it's basically saying, give me some better nutrition, I want some fuel here, the fuel you're giving me is rubbish. And I would just respond by finding the nearest thing, which was bread. And it just went round and round in this circle, with my body crying out for some good food and me just feeding it rubbish. So what I have done is I've come up with a chart where I plan my food in quite a lot of detail to stop me getting hungry and stop me reaching for the bread. And in the next video I will go through that chart with you in detail and show you exactly how it's helping me, because it's been 2 days now and I haven't had any bread, and it's been easy because I've used that chart. And the last thing I think you need to think about when you're giving up bread is to treat this as not just a challenge, but something that is going to teach you about your relationship with food. I only know how to approach this in the right way because I've made so many mistakes before. Okay, like I was saying, with trying to give up too many things at once and not having those substitutes there for bread. So, for example, I know from bitter experience that substitutes such as spelt bread, naan bread, rye bread, they're no good for me because I just start eating them in this same addictive way as normal bread. This time round I am allowing myself to have pitta, but what I've found just in the short period that I've been off bread is that I'm a little bit too interested in the pitta, and I've had a bit more than I thought I would. So that's something that I need to keep an eye on. And if it turns out that pitta is actually there's also too addictive for me, then I'm not going to think that I've failed. I'm just going to think, well, I've learned something else. So it's really important that you don't end up throwing the baby out with the bathwater, if you see what I mean. Okay, so thanks for watching, and if this has been a help to you, then please leave your comments below because it helps me, and look forward to seeing you in video too.